Welcome back to PSC Tech Bytes. This week I want to talk with you about how you can easily manage the value of taxonomy fields in SharePoint list items using the PnP Core Library. In fact, in February 2018, we improved the support for taxonomy fields in the engine and in the PnP Core Library more in general, thanks to the community contribution. There are two extension methods which got improved in February, and those methods are the set taxonomy field value for single value taxonomy fields and set taxonomy field values for multi-value taxonomy fields. Moreover, in the provisioning engine, we have full support for provisioning new items in a list using fields which can be taxonomy fields, again, single or multi-value through the data rows elements in the XML schema of the provisioning engine. So let me move to the demo environment and let me show how you can play with these functionalities using the engine and using the PnP Core Library. Here we are in the term store management tool of SharePoint, and we have a few term groups and term sets to define products and regions. I will use these term sets to configure the fields of a sample list that I have in a target site, and this list, as you can see, has a couple of fields. One is a field to define a single value through the taxonomy, and the other one is a field that I can use to define a multi-value. So instead of using the web UI of SharePoint to set these fields, I will switch to the source code of a sample application that I have, in which I simply have a reference to the target list that I want to feed, and I get the item that I have in target. I execute the query using CSOM, and I then use the set taxonomy field value, which is one of the methods I was telling you about, and this method wants to have the GUID of the target taxonomy field, as well as the label and the GUID of the term that you want to use to set the single value taxonomy field. At the same time, we have the set taxonomy field values extension method, which will still accept the GUID of the field, of the target multi-value taxonomy field in this case, as well as a collection of key value pair for the GUID and the label of the terms that you want to set in the multi-value taxonomy field. So if I will execute this code and this application, you will see that in a matter of few seconds, I will have, and here we are, I will have in my SharePoint list item the two fields properly set up with a single value and with a multi-value selected from the term store. At the same time, using the PnP Provisioning Engine, you can use a collection of data rows when you define a list instance, and within every single data row, you can configure the data value of a field, whether it is a single taxonomy field or a multi-taxonomy field. And in case of a single one, you will have to provide as a value, as a text value for the data value element, the label of the term, followed by a pipe, and followed by the GUID of the term in the term store. Or for a multi-value taxonomy field, you can provide as many terms as you like, where every single term has to be represented using the term label, pipe, the GUID, and then a semicolon to divide each and every single term from any other term in the collection of terms for this multi-value taxonomy field. And again, if I go, for example, to PowerShell and I execute that template, I will create the items in a target list, which is this one right now, in which I don't have any item at the current moment, but by executing this template, by applying this provisioning template, I will have 4 new items with all of the taxonomy fields properly configured. Now the provisioning engine is going through all of the settings of the list that it has to be created or updated if it is already existing in the target site, and pretty soon we will be processing the data rows. Here we are, and as soon as the data rows will be processed, I will have the 4 items created in the target site. In fact, if I go back and I refresh the list, as you can see, I have 4 items created with all of the taxonomy fields properly configured with single or multi-value in there. So that's it. Pretty easy as usually, and you simply need to use the provisioning engine or the PnP Core Library more in general to manage the value of taxonomy fields in SharePoint. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.